the workbook, and I need like a little cartoon or what have you kind of drawn for it.
Okay.
Um, and I can't find anybody to draw it without wanting a lot of money that I don't have.
Well, what kind of
um,
drawing are we talking about? We talking about like a doodle, or like tell me
say it again.
what is tell me about the drawing so I can try to understand what kind of drawing we're talking about.
So, in one chapter of the in the workbook where it talks about boys have feelings too, right? That's chapter one. And in that workbook, there's what I need drawn is like a man sitting like either on a chair or on a bed. It doesn't matter where he's sitting. Um, and there's like a cartoon, like a bubble over his head that shows um, him as a little boy crying and his mom saying, "Stop all that crying, boys don't cry," right? And
Mm-hmm.
then standing in front of him is either his partner, spouse, wife, whomever, to him, and above her head, she's got kind of like she looks exasperated, saying, "Why won't you talk to me? Why won't you tell me what's going on?" Why, that's kind of the focus of the
I got it. I got it.
of this drawing.
So is your vision for this to be more of a like a realistic, almost like a picture type drawing, or is the vision for it to be, drawn out in black, like like a sketch, or is the vision like
Almost like
cartoon?
a yeah, more real life. Um, and I'm open to cartoonish, but I think a more real life, um,
But
black
definitely
and
clear.
white kind of sketch.
Okay. Okay. I like it. And I don't see why that should cost a ton of money. What are you being quoted?
Like the one person that I know probably could really do it, he was like $100. I was like, $100, dude, like really? I tried Fiverr. Um, I tried Fiverr, but the few people who've responded, I looked at their work, and
Uh-huh.
their work is more cartoonish than real life. And I'm not
Okay.
looking for cartoonish.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let me see if I can find someone. Yeah, I don't think it should be $100. Um, let me see if I can find a couple people because I've had things drawn before and I've used Fiverr people. Let me go back to them and see. The
Okay.
first thing, also, I might be able to, we might be able to use AI to sketch it and then load it into like Canva and add the words and the bubbles, or something like that.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's above my know-how.
Yeah, but I know how to do that. So I'm just thinking, like, what do I know how to do that I could do to help? Um, so let me look at this. And now first I'll look on Fiverr, the people that I know or people that I think could do it, and then I'll send you a couple links, see if any of those are feel in alignment. And then if not, we can see about creating our own custom thing too. What did I do with my lotion? And see if that will work. But that's I know it can be done. So I don't think that's a big deal at all.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's
Now, my next question for you. Yeah, that's really the biggest piece, and then out of that, I have quotes and things as we talked about a little bit at the end of each chapter.
uh-huh.
And I did Google searches for these quotes. So from a credit perspective, right? Do I I'm do I need to go back and find where I got them and create like a page of credits is not the word I'm looking for. It's
I
leaving
know
my
what you
head.
I know what you mean. Well, you could just if the quote, how's the quote appearing? It's going to be in between the chapters. Is it like appearing on a designed
It's
page?
at the end of each chapter. No, it's
Just
at the
like
end. There's one quote at the end of each chapter.
so what you could do is just
Kind of
have the
tying. It's kind of tying the chapter together.
Okay, so what you could do is the quote would be written, obviously, since it's a quote in a different type of stylized font. You could just have that little squiggly line and the name of who said the quote. That's all. And it could just be really small down on the bottom right.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not small in the bottom right, but I do have who wrote it after
Yeah,
each
that's
one.
yeah. So once it's what I'm saying, like when it's designed and formatted, you would just have the formatter just put it down at the bottom. You know what I mean? Or wherever, as long as it's cohesive. So every quote looks exactly the same every time it appears
Yeah,
in the, you know?
yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I want it a little larger though because I do want because it does tie back. Each one ties back to the chapter, right? So it's almost like motivational quote for the
Yeah, no, no,
mom.
no. I mean the person who wrote their name
Oh,
is small
got it,
underneath the
got it,
yeah, underneath the quote to the right, smaller is the person's name. So you're giving
got
them
it.
credit. But it's not
Mhm.
like this was said by, it's not like that's not the highlight. So the quote stands out, but you're giving credits small at the bottom, you know,
Right. Okay.
underneath the
Gotcha.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's how you do that. That's no
Yeah,
problem.
that makes sense. So yeah, so that's where I am with the workbook. I've gone through it, and as time has gone on, I've added things and changed things and added journaling pages after each chapter. I'm at the end of each chapter so that people can take notes as they're working through the chapter.
I
Um,
love that.
at the beginning of each chapter, what I do like is I can't remember if we talked about this or not. My cousin is a social worker, and she's trying to get me to go back to school to get that. I said I don't want to do that. If I have a workshop and I need y'all's expertise, that's what y'all find how y'all do that. But
Right.
the start of each book is some personal work. It's some self work. Um, it starts out with you know, list, give, a few characteristics of how you're feeling today to describe how you're feeling today. And then it talks about, how are you feeling about, how would you describe your son? Is there something going on between you and your son that will make you answer these questions or go through this workbook in a different way? And then so it kind of gives them some self work, some inner work first
Right.
before diving into the chapter. And then at the end, I say, if there's something going on between you and your son that would not allow you to, work through this in a I can't remember the word I used, in a good way, then I would encourage you maybe to wait and
Yeah, I
to go
like that. So it's like a self-assessment initially.
right. And that's at the start of each chapter.
Yeah, I like that. That's good. That's great. I think it's brilliant. I mean, I'm always thinking ahead. I think that one piece right there is a whole separate, thing, like a whole separate workshop or training or like how to properly prepare yourself to manage and handle these certain things,
Mhm.
these
And then in one
conversations.
of them, towards the end, I asked them to take a moment and write out a prayer that you would like to read or that you would share with your son. Um, so that a lot of times we say, "Oh, our kids know I love them. My kids know I pray for them." Do they? We always like to assume. Do they know?
Right. You assume. Yeah. And then you be laying in a bed at night, like, did I even
Right.
time I can't remember if yeah.
Exactly.
That's why I
Mm-hmm.
love it so much because it's my real life.
Yeah. Mine.
It's my real life. Seriously. Oh my God.
Mine.
Okay,
So
so what
that's what's going on with that.
okay. So let's talk about timeline. When are you thinking of having this done? What else is happening? With everything else? Anything else we need to go over? All the things.
Well, so I've been so the anniversary of the book release is coming up, of course, in March.
Hmm.
Um, and there's two things that I'm potentially interested in doing. One is a workshop to introduce the book, right? I mean,
Okay.
to introduce the workbook. And for those who already have the book, can purchase the workbook, and for those who don't, we need to purchase both, right, for the workshop. And I would include, think about, include that in the cost so that it doesn't like, oh, well, now she's nickel and diamond, right? So
Right.
thought about that. And then I would 100% want to do a mother son raising kings like sneaker ball. kind of dance
Oh, that's
for
cool.
moms and sons, because it's always, daddy daughter dances and all of
Yeah.
that. So,
Yeah.
but I want them to be. You don't have to be dressed up, but I don't want them in sweatpants. I don't want them in jeans. I want them to see that there's more to,
Put some effort into it. They can come matching and stuff. People will get
right,
creative. I love it.
right.
Yeah, that's fun. Okay, so it looks like we need to build up a new timeline for these things. So March for the anniversary of the book, you want just to be the workshop, or you want the sneaker ball to be in March?
Both.
Both. Okay. So
And the reason
workshop.
I say that is because February, people focusing on Valentine's Day and CIAA coming. I was trying to look at things that are going on, right?
Uh-huh.
For competing dates and things.
A lot going on. Really, I mean, not for us.
Say it again.
I said it's not really a lot going on in March. I mean, not for us.
No, not for us.
You
Not for
know.
us.
So are you thinking workshop is in person? I'm assuming obviously the ball is an in-person community experience where people can
That's the
travel if they, but it's
that's
a
the goal.
definitely an anchored event in your your ecosystem closer to you. But in regards to the workshop, are you thinking of that being virtual, or is that also an in-person?
I would like for it to be in person. I'm not opposed to virtual because I know that would probably get a wider audience
Hmm.
virtually. Um, I definitely need to work on my virtual presence. I feel like I shine more and I'm more impactful in person.
Yeah, and that's nothing wrong with that. I mean, you could do an in-person event and have it recorded, and people can still buy tickets to something virtual or attend virtually and just watch the experience. That's a whole thing. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be one or the other. So you can still
One of the
as
other.
and as amazing as you want to be in person, and then they just kind of you have an iPad recording the in-person experience. They might not get the work, they might not get the full impact, but people will still watch it virtually. They can still get access to the workbook and feel connected, watch the panel, listen to the discussions or whatever virtually. But it can be done in a private community, like a private Facebook group or events where it's not, where people can just kind of tap in and just focus for the day or the 2 hours or however long it is.
So, what are your thoughts on? Do you charge for that virtually if they're watching a replay? If you're playing it in the Facebook?
Mhm. I would absolutely charge for it. It would be so depending, we would judge it based on what the curriculum, like, or what the flow of the workshop would be, like the deliverables. Because, like in person, if say for example, if it's like $100 ticket I'm just making this up. If it's $100 ticket in person, it's like, well, because we put out food for you, there's drinks, even if it's just water and snacks, but you also might get access to, everyone gets a free copy of their book when they walk in, of your book when they walk in. There might be some prizes or giveaways if you have a sponsor, and then maybe they get they actually get a printed version of the workbook, or they get a free copy of the workbook and the book, something like that. So in person, obviously you pay for more to have that in-person experience. You can sign the book, they can take photos with you. That's a higher price point. Virtually, that same experience could be, $29 or $30 or something, because they're just showing up. They still get the workbook. And if they want, they could purchase the actual physical workbook. Like they can get a digital copy of the workbook that comes with their ticket, or they can upgrade maybe for another $10 and get the physical copy of the workbook mailed to them. So there's ways you can play with it, but they're still getting the content. So we still have to charge them something.
Right, right.
They're getting all the content. They just don't have all the extra perks of being in the room. I
Got it.
just went to a marketing conference in Arizona in what is this? Yeah, it was October, and the tickets were really expensive. I bought my ticket early. It was $297, which is like dirt cheap for a marketing conference. They ended up going up to like $997, but they
Ooh,
still charge. Yeah, they still charge the virtual people the original $297, and they were watching on Zoom.
wow.
Yep. So it happens a lot, like for Ramcon, people can buy, like we stream it, but if you bought the ticket, then you get access to the replay. So that's the other thing, is like you have the recording, and even the people that show up in person, if they want, since you're going to be recording it and streaming it somewhere, they can also get copies of the replay. So that's an added perk for the people in person, and then the people that are watching virtually still can keep access to the replay or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of ways, but I definitely think you should charge for it either way.
Got it. Okay. Because I've been thinking about, venue, what communities I would tap into to market it. Why is that look faded? Sorry. What communities I would tap into to market it to?
It's blurred. It's like the Zoom has the blur on it, so I can't even.
Yeah,
I can't see you.
that's what I was saying. Okay, I thought maybe it was just me. Hold on. Let me see. Maybe it's my camera.
Now I can see you now, but it's like when you had it down, I see your like blur. There we go.
That's weird. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to. I'm working at a pharmacy, CVS pharmacy, until something comes about, and so I was just getting off. I thought I would have been home by now, so my apologies that I'm not. That I'm in the car.
No problem. No problem.
Now, okay, I took the blur off. Let's see. Okay, that's
yeah,
better.
now I see you. So yeah, and so venues, yeah, definitely. I mean, I think there's a lot of organizations that you can tap into. I think you can even tap into some local organizations to ask for sponsorship that also supports, young men. There has to be organizations, that are just get uh targeting young men or parents, of boys, something like that, that would want to come and have a presence, even if they, sometimes these even if they have, like, as people walk in, if they had a table, or if they offer, if you say, well, you could put your organization, your support brochure in the bag or on the table when people come in. You know what I mean? So it's like little things, as much as you want others involved or not. But I think it'd be a cool opportunity for you to kind of position yourself as the expert in this space, but also build some really cool partnerships locally. Which, what it does, two things. Not only does it give you it exposes you to them, but then also you're saying, hey, I'm friendly, this is what I offer. And then next thing you know, when they're looking for an expert or a keynote speaker or someone to come in and do workshops, they already know what you offer.
See, the weirdest thing is I'm having the biggest trouble with that. I've reached out to a number of, like, sports coaches, who, like, coach boys football or basketball, to kind of connect, with them, because they have a presence, especially some of the larger organizations here. I've tried to reach out to Jack and Jill organization. Didn't really get a response back. I tried to reach out to Delta Sigma Theta, because they have a program that's supposed to target, boys, Black boys. I didn't hear back from that. It's really weird. Like, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah,
I need a different marketing tool or what.
well, I would love to see what you're sending them. For one, I'd like to see what you're sending them. And then the other thing is, I would like to know, sorry, I'm trying to put light on. I just got dark in here for some reason. I would also like to, a lot of that stuff with specifically with the sororities and even the larger organizations is really about who you know. So it's like, we got to make sure we're talking to the right person. And, maybe there's some groundwork we need to do to make sure that they understand, like, who exactly you are and what you bring to the table. So then when they see you in their inbox, it's like, oh, okay, you know what I mean? So I don't think it definitely is not you. I just think, and then the other piece is, a lot of these organizations are all over the place, and they might not have a point person. Like, I'm doing some consulting for a local nonprofit here, and we bring in speakers and do stuff, but we get emails all the time. And they're like, we just don't have the capacity to deal with it. We don't know. We'll find someone. They're all over the damn place. So it's not you. But I would like to
And
see
so,
what you're seeing.
yeah, and so really, I haven't really sent them a whole lot. So, and that's one of the other things I wanted to talk about. I think we may have talked about this a while ago, but some marketing tools. Um,
Yeah.
but the pager, you
Say that last again.
know,
You said
book
marketing.
and what
uh,
like maybe like marketing to like paper, um, you know,
Oh, I can't
um,
hear you.
whether I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, it just started skipping. It said marketing tools, and then it just sounded like you went underwater. It's like, ah.
Like some type of a one pager or little
Yes.
trifold, something that I can send to them that talks about who I am, a little bit about what I do, a little bit about the book or what have you, something that's official that I can send to them, that's official.
Yeah. So we can build a speaker sheet and a book. We can do a speaker sheet, and really it's like an EPK, which is electronic press kit, and it will feature like your speaking topics. I feel like we already started building this out, didn't we?
We talked about it, but I don't think we really started building it out. I know we have, of course, the bio. We have, some blurbs about the book, a blurb about the book. But there's not an actual document.
Okay. I'm just
We
looking.
started talking about it, but
Started talking about it. Okay. All right. So we need to get that built. But also I'd like to kind of come up with a really like a process for how you reach out. What does that look like? If you can you send me what you've been sending, and
it's really just
then
been it's really just been an email introducing myself and talking about the book. That's it. It's nothing like official form, like nothing. So
okay.
that's it.
So we need
and the
to,
people that I've reached out to are people. They are people that I know. So there hasn't been like random.
and they did respond.
This one person, she responded. I mean, she responded with the little like or the little heart, but nothing else came of it.
Hmm.
And my thing is, her sons are older now, so I don't know if they're still in Jack and Jill. But you would think that she would have at least referred me to, or even said, "Hey, we're no longer a part of Jack and Jill because my children have grown out of it. But let me connect you or share this with blah blah blah."
Right.
You know,
Right. Right. Hmm.
didn't happen.
All right. Explore this more. I definitely think that that's what we need to do, but we also need to get working on a um like a EPK and some marketing materials, so that way you'll feel like you have what you need to show up the way you want to show up. And I really
Yeah.
want to kind of put together, streamline this whole outreach process and start thinking about it, because the goal would be to start building these relationships now, especially if you're going
Hmm.
to do all and selling tickets. Um,
Right.
and the other, so I want you to think about what you want this workshop experience to look like. And if it's, how do we attach them both together? Because if you're selling two things in 1 month, I don't want it, I don't want it to be, can you hear me still? Are
Tomorrow.
you there?
Okay.
Yeah.
I lost
You
you.
there?
I lost you. You were frozen for a minute. Sorry.
Okay. So I was saying, I really want you to think about how you want the workshop to appear, because the sneaker ball is obviously is going to be a heavier lift, right? So are we having this small workshop, and then like once we go through the workshop experience, like we're looking at it like the celebration is the sneaker ball, but that's open to the public. The workshop is more of a VIP, only for a certain amount of people. How are they related? Because I don't want you to have two things in 1 month that you're like trying to sell tickets to, and then that's gonna suck. You know what I mean? So like, and without a story and them kind of being related and it making it clear, like, so because you could even have a combo ticket, like workshop experience, like mother son month. You know what I mean? So it's like this is an opportunity for you to brand this for the long run. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I'm just thinking about how that could look, but I also want to know what your vision is for the workshop really clearly. Do you see there being 50 people there? Is this mothers and sons coming together? Or is this, or is this just a 10 women VIP type of brunch, like we're just like getting down to it. You do a book reading, they leave with some tools and feeling like they've had an outlet, maybe they connect with each other, this could turn into something else, whereas they stay connected to you when you start to offer other things. I don't know, so that's what I want you to think about, because all of that is going to have to do with how much. It's just like a splitting of capacity and resources, like how much work is it going to take us to sell 10 tickets versus 50 tickets to a workshop, and then also sell 50 tickets to 100 tickets to a sneaker ball, so that's what I'm just thinking of, like, how are we putting it together and branding it right up front, so then we move forward with that as part of the market, and build out a marketing plan for it based on what your vision is.
So my vision is not necessarily 50 women, because I still want it at first to be somewhat intimate, maybe, so that people aren't really super shy about sharing. And to me, depending on the space, 50 could still be intimate, right? Especially if you have, 10 tables of 5. 50
Right.
sounds like a lot until you kind of visualize, oh, that's only 10 tables of 5 people, right? So I like the idea of the combo ticket. Like, you have the option to purchase both.
I just, because I feel like if you're not, because all the marketing efforts go into talking about this full March with Shumon experience. You know what I mean? Like Raising Kings experience, as opposed to it being like, oh, you selling this and then you selling that. So that way you can feel like it all just is cohesive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm really trying to get at. Like, I don't want it to be so that you can just go full steam ahead and have this, the campaign is a campaign, and they get to the page and they can see their options of how they participate, during the month of March with you, how they can tap in different ways. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna do the workshop, and now everyone gets to meet my son at the ball, so I'm just thinking of it
Right.
like, as a mother myself, like, what would I love to, I'm like, I want to come to the workshop and powwow out with the mothers and get to know them. And then after, I mean, just walking into the ball, already knowing these women, some women that were already there, and then now they get to meet my son, who I talked about. It just feels good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I like that. And to me, the kind of the sneaker ball, is really kind of tied to that. The another one of the other chapters is,
Mm.
um spending some time with your son. He's your son, not your man, and planning those dates. And that could be the first date. It's
Yeah,
already kind of scheduled and planned out for you. You really don't have to
right.
do anything, but kind of show up,
Yeah, I
and
like that.
have fun with your son.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's great. So, do you want to spend some time flushing that out, and then we can
Yeah,
build a market?
better. Yeah, better. You know how my mind works, Tamara.
I know. That's why I'm like, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm gonna
You know
send you
how
what
my
I'm gonna send you this link. So, because this call was just like a connection call, but we need more time to kind of go through this stuff together. And then, so I need to give you the actual link where we have time to talk. And then we can come together to start planning this out. And then that way, if we book it, then you'll have time to think it through. And then I can ask you a whole bunch of questions and we can start putting something together.
Okay. Two questions. Well, I guess the workbook itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I know we talked about kind of the cost for that. I think we said 500, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that was just getting it. That was us publishing it and just, right.
Going through
That was
yeah, I think it was going through the process of the editing and all that kind of stuff, right? Getting it out. Did
getting
I
it out.
understand that right?
Yes,
right?
I believe so. I honestly can't remember. I have to go back and look at our notes.
Okay. I think that's what I remember. And so for this continued consultation, what does that look like financially?
Well, initially, not because we still have sessions. Remember, we had. Let me go into your Nifty board. This is why I take good notes because I mean, seriously, we got to know where we left off. And my computer's moving slow. I'm sorry because I'm on Zoom.
That's okay.
But we definitely have. I mean, I know we at least have 2 sessions where we were supposed to do follow up, like, because I mean, even if I can't even. Come on, I'm sorry, but
That's fine.
hey, we were supposed to be planning out your speaking stuff and like what comes next and what are we gonna do about workshops and all that. So I know we at least had 2 sessions built in for that we've talked about it. It's in pieces, but we haven't really gotten into that. So I feel
Okay.
like that's what we're doing now. So I wouldn't even worry about that right now.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Sounds good.
So I'm
Sounds
gonna
good.
box you. So 2 things, because my next call is joining now. It's 3:30. I'm gonna Vox you the link for a longer call so we can get back on a schedule. And then I need to know if you want to come into my mastermind before the end of this year, or do you want to do something in January? It's totally up to you.
Let's do January because I'm in the middle of my annual Christmas show.
That's right. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. We've sold over 100 tickets, and so we have about 70 or so left to
Bigger
sell.
this year. It's bigger this year, right?
It is bigger this year. We've got about 70 left tickets to sell.
That's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, my brain is on learning music.
I know you look like whatever. I'm like, you're like, uh-huh. That's amazing though. That's exciting. Yes.
Thank
Okay,
you.
girl.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we'll do January. That's fine. But I'll probably come in and just say, let's get a date because I do all their scheduling and stuff out. And these are mamas. So, they need to know or they're not going to be
Yep.
present. And So,
I get it.
Okay.
I
All
get
right,
it.
cool. So I'll start these things and I'll, as always, give you the replay of this and the notes, and then we'll get to rocking and rolling.
And don't forget the Fiverr person.
Nope. I got Fiverr.
Okay.
Person I have, and we'll see if any of those work. If not, we'll go with the other idea I had of us designing something, maybe doing Mid-Journey, that us meeting me, and then speaker EPK. I already have your branding stuff, so I'll send that. We can start getting some drafts of that, and then I also have the link to book our next session.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Talk.
Thank you. Talk soon. Bye.
Later.